The leaders of ICE, Customs and Border Protection, and Immigration Services are testifying today in front of the House Homeland Security Committee. They will also be talking to the Senate on Thursday. This comes obviously after the intense backlash with the deaths of 2 American citizens in January, and then just the overall conduct of ICE and Border Protection throughout the country, and some of the just horrendous stories that we've been hearing that have been happening to human beings throughout this country. This also takes place as negotiations are ongoing to find another way to fund DHS. That is supposed to expire on February 13th, which is a couple days from now. Right now, it does not look like that's going to happen. There was a 2-week funding period where that funding was extended, but negotiations have gone nowhere. The lead Republican in charge of negotiations, Katie Britt, has said that Democrat wishes or Democrat requests are a wish list, a Christmas wish list. And so what are the big things that Democrats are asking for? Well, they're asking for the end to warrantless arrests. They're asking for ICE and Border Patrol agents to be unmasked. They're asking that immigration arrests and these violent conflicts don't take place in hospitals, in schools, in churches, and around polling areas. So if that's some kind of fucking Christmas wish list, I really don't understand, because that's the way that law enforcement is supposed to operate. And so what the Republicans are hoping is that because ICE and Border Protection won't be funded under this, other things like TSA, so for your flights, flight security, won't be funded. The Coast Guard won't be funded. FEMA won't be funded. And so what they're hoping is that the Democrats will feel so much pressure is that they just go ahead and fund ICE and Border Protection as well. And you may ask, like I did, well, why can't you just carve out, funding for those agencies, the Coast Guard, FEMA, TSA, things like that, but not fund ICE and Border Protection, which got a massive infusion of money in the big, beautiful bill from Trump, which was the massive tax cuts for his rich friends as well. And you can do that. And it's actually been offered by Democrats to just say, hey, we'll fund everything else, but we don't want to fund ICE and Border Protection until there are massive reforms. And the Republicans immediately balked at that. And they said, I don't think that's anything we can do, which is bullshit, because they can absolutely do that. So please be aware of that when you contact your senators. But right now, the Republican, like Thune and those guys and Britt, they're saying that they can't do that. And we can absolutely do that. ICE and Border Patrol don't need any more money. They got a massive infusion of cash. They're funded for years at a much higher rate than they were before. More, more than a lot of militaries in this world, and more than the Marines. So they do not need this funding. And so as you apply pressure, please do, to your congressmen and senators in this election year, please remind them that the ICE and Border Patrol do not need any more money. We can give it to FEMA, we can give it to TSA, we can give it to the Coast Guard, fine. We can carve out a space there where we don't need to give ICE and Border Patrol another damn dime. And I don't mean, unless they give us the reforms. I mean, we don't need to give them a dime and we get the reforms. There's massive public backlash for what has been happening and a lack of support for what ICE and Border Patrol are doing. And so the pressure is on the Republicans. We need the reforms, like no more warrantless arrests, no more masks, no more, assaults and arresting people in hospitals and schools and churches, at polling places, and all those threats like from Steve Bannon, and not another dime. And so until talk to your, Democrat congressmen and senators as well. No more of this, folding over at the last second because they're worried about public perception. Put this squarely on the Republicans. And right now the Democrats seem to be holding strong, unlike, one of the previous shutdowns from last year. But put the pressure on them. Not another dime, and reforms. Not another dime, and the reforms. And that's got to be the push. Okay, so I'll try to give you an update on what happens with the hearings today in the House. And again, they're going to meet on Thursday as well to hopefully get some accountability and put some people up on the stand under oath. Not that it matters to a lot of these people, but to get out there in front of the public and have a little bit of accountability for what has been happening and what they're doing. But yeah, remember, all the reforms, no more money. And that's got to be the line. And we can do hard things. They can fund the rest of the government, including DHS, but not fund the ICE Stapo. Okay, thanks.